All right, the matter around us, what are the things around and the matter and everything. Understand this? Simple one, anything that occupies space and has mass and volume is called matter. What is a matter? Simple thing is, whatever thing which we have it in and around us is called a matter. The definition as far as chemistry is concerned is given, anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. For example, the air we breathe, we cannot see that, but its presence can be felt, isn't it? If you take an empty bottle, invert it down into a bucket containing water, the water does not enter into that bottle. Why? Because the air has occupied its place. Understood it? So anything that occupies space and has mass can be called matter. All right? So these things you know down. All objects that surround us are made up of matter. The book what we read occupies some space, it is matter. Early times, human beings were able to used to explain about the Panch Tattva. You all know that air, water, fire, etc., etc. Now, the latest scientific the definition of matter is given as this way: anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. No doubt, anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Noted? In modern science, matter can be classified into two types. In modern science, the matter is classified into two. Physical classification based on the physical properties of matter. Physical classification based on the physical properties of matter. And chemical classification based on chemical properties of matter. What does it mean? The matter is classified on the physical characteristics, that is the physical properties, it is classified, and chemical properties based on the chemical composition, matter is classified into two, into this. So what we need to do is the physical classification of matter. The first one, the activity that is given in the NCERT book, you must read that. The matter is made up of particles, note down. The matter is made up of particles. The matter is made up of particles. What activity is given in the NCERT book? You just see that. You take a glass containing water, take a tablespoon of sugar, put into the glass, stir it well. The sugar particles dissolves in water, right? The water level does not rise. That is what is activity given it. And what does that activity conclude? The particles of sugar, they have gone in between the space of the water molecules. The matter is made up of very small size particles. Simplest activity. Take a glass containing water, put little bit of common salt into that. Sugar may take little time to dissolve, common salt will dissolve it faster. Stir it well, common salt get dissolved, and you see, does the water level in the glass gets increased or not? It remains the same. So where is that common salt gone? The common salt is gone in between the space of the water molecules. Understood it? So when this common salt big crystal we have put, it is getting dissolved. We say that the common salt is got dissolved. And what does that dissolution mean? The particles are gone in between the space of the water molecules. Understood it? So that larger crystal of common salt, when it is put into water, it gets dissolved. It gets converted into smaller particles by which they go in between the molecules of water. So that is the activity which shows that the matter is made up of particles. Alright, see that activity and you must do that. So what is the conclusion of that activity? The common salt or the sugar particles, sugar crystals are made up of very large number of smaller particles. We are taken like, common salt and sugar which are crystalline in nature, cubical crystals. And these cubical crystals are made up of number of millions and millions of small particles of common salt or sugar. So when that is put into water, they disintegrate, they get converted into smaller particles and by which they can enter between the water molecules. So therefore the conclusion is that it is made up of larger number of smaller particles. When we dissolve sugar, the particles go in between the space. Have you understood it clearly? You can understand it this way. The same experiment you carry out glass, water, and you add sand particles. Understood it? You put little bit of sand into that. And if the same amount of sand is added as we added that of sugar, you could see that the level of water level rises up in the glass. Have you understood what I mean to say that? When we are taking a glass containing water, 1 teaspoon of common salt, you add it up, stir it well, water level does not rise. And the same amount of sand you put it out, you can see the water level rises up. What is the reason? Because the sand particles cannot be disintegrated into smaller constituents. So they cannot go in between the water molecules. Therefore, the volume has risen. Understood it? That is what we have studied in the lower classes. What are solutions? When a solute dissolves in a solvent. And when the solute dissolves means the solute particles are going in between the solvent. And that is why the volume of solution does not rise. Understood it clearly? Sand particles does not dissolve in water. Sand particles does not dissolve in water. Therefore, what is the total volume? The total volume of that glass containing water is the volume of water plus volume of sand. Whereas when sugar is added or salt is added, the final volume of the solution remains the same. You understood why does the final volume remain the same? Understood it clearly? Because the solute particle, that is the sugar particles, are broken down into smaller constituents so that they can enter in between the water molecules. These are water molecules, imagine it. There is a space between them, so the sugar molecules can go in between. Whereas when sand is taken, sand particles are larger enough, it cannot go in between. Therefore, the volume gets reduced. So the first property is the matter is made up of any matter you talk it out is made up of larger number of smaller particles. Understood that activity? Sugar or common salt, we can do that. Now the same activity, similar activity is given with that of potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate is a chemical purple color or violet color crystalline material used in the laboratory. Its one important use is it can be used to purify the germs and etc. present in it. Suppose like the fruits and vegetables are to be cleaned, you could put 2-3 crystals of potassium permanganate in a bucket containing water. The solution turns purplish in color and you can clean. It is used for that purpose. Anyway, so this activity shows you take a glass containing water. In the book it is given around 100 ml of water is taken in. Put 1 or 2 crystals of potassium permanganate into that. As the potassium permanganate crystals are put, the solution turns into purplish in color. Understood? It is dark purplish in color. From that, you take 10 ml of water, that colored solution, put again into 100 ml of water. The 100 ml of water which we taken it and put this potassium permanganate, the solution, that solution will be colored. So as the dilution goes on and goes on and goes on, from dark purple it becomes less darker, and in that method it goes on and goes on and goes on, and finally still you will be able to see some purplish color in that. What does it show? Initially into that glass of water I have put one crystal, the solution is turned dark purplish, and from which little bit of water is taken, I put it into another one. So that solutions, the potassium permanganate quantity is being reduced and reduced and reduced. Even then also the last moment when you do it, it becomes still little purplish in color. Understood it? So 100 ml, from which I have taken a 10 ml, put it in 100 ml again from which 10 ml is taken, put it in 100 ml again, and in this method we keep on doing the dilution and dilution, but ultimately still you will be able to see some little bit of purplish color in that. What does it show? First glass of water is having potassium permanganate crystal. The second one is having, out of which few crystals have gone into this one, out of which little bit of, and in that method it is continuously going on. Have you understood that activity? You do it number of times. From 100 ml you dilute it into 10,000 ml. Even then also that solution will be slightly colored. Similar activity you could do it with salt. 100 ml of water, you add salt, taste it, it is salty, right? You take some amount of that salt solution, put it into another 100 ml, that water will be still salty, isn't it? But it is lesser salt. And same method you do it in the other one, still lesser one, isn't it? So the saltness can be experienced in that solution, how much you keep on diluting it. Have you understood it? So this shows the matter is made up of, any matter whatsoever you take it is made up of larger number of smaller particles. Understood both these activities clear? Potassium permanganate, why it is taken, why we prefer to use potassium permanganate? Because one crystal of potassium permanganate is able to give very dark purplish color in 100 ml or 1000 ml of water. Understood it? One crystal, a small piece of, like the sugar size, sugar crystal size, that much amount of potassium permanganate, if you put it in 100 ml of water or 1000 ml of water, it turns much purplish in color. Got it? And why, when we do about this activity with sugar or common salt, as we dilute it, our taste buds may not be able to taste the sugar or salt when it is too much diluted. Whereas the potassium permanganate's color, one can see it easily. How much you dilute it, the color will be still there. That is why the second activity is more important than the first activity, to show that the matter is made up of larger number of smaller particles. Have you understood it clearly? One sugar crystal, if you take it and put it in a glass containing water, you may not be able to get the taste of sweetness. Whereas the same size potassium permanganate, when it is put it into water, you could see the purple color. Have you understood it? And that's the reason why potassium permanganate is used. Understood these both activities? And what does it show? The matter is made up of very large number of smaller particles. Understood it? The next one is the characteristics of particles of matter. There is this thing you note down. The particles of matter are very small. The particles of matter are very small. Which is beyond our imagination. Particles of matter are so small that is beyond our imagination. How small the particle, one cannot imagine. But whatever we are able to see, we are able to, because the smallest size particle that our human eye can see, there is a limit. And one such crystal, if you are taking, it will be having millions and millions of smaller particles. That is what I mean to say that. So it is too small. Understood it clearly? Simplest example is, understand it. We have taken common salt. You could see the common salt in a spoon that you can see with your naked eye. And when it is put into water, it gets dissolved. The sizes become so small, you cannot see that common salt particles even with the help of ultra powerful microscope. So how much small that common salt has been? Have you understood it? The crystal what you see is very large, so that you are able to see with your naked eye. And when the same this thing is put it into water, it disappears. We cannot see. Why we cannot see? Because size is become so small, one cannot see it. We understood it clearly? And that common salt solution, from which common salt one cannot see even with the help of microscope. So they have become so small. That is the size. So one cannot imagine how small these particles. But what we are able to see, anything that you see containing number of millions of smaller particles. Understood it? So the next term is, note down, the characteristics of particles of matter. Characteristics of particles of matter. Everything is in the NCERT book, but preferably you note down. The first one, the particles of matter have space between them. Characteristics of particles of matter. The particles of matter have space between them. Same first two activities what we did, common salt, sugar, potassium permanganate, isn't it? What did I tell you that time? The common salt that is put into water is disappeared, isn't it? Where it is gone? It is gone in between the water molecules. Have you understood it? And if you put sand particles, it cannot go in between the water molecules. So there is space between every material. Understood it? That space also one cannot imagine. Don't just think that 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter. The space between the particle is extremely small. And that is why the larger size sand particles could not go in between the water molecules. Whereas the smaller size sugar could go. Understood it? Space between them. The next one, write down. The particles of matter are continuously moving in all directions. The particles of matter are continuously moving in all directions. Number of activities, you know that in your kitchen is something is being cooked. You are sitting in the drawing room. Don't you get the smell of that? We get it, right? You light an incense stick somewhere in the corner of the room. In due course of time, the full room will be with the incense stick smell, isn't it? Neither you are going nearer to the incense stick, nor the stick comes to you, but only the smell comes. That particles which produce that smell is reaching your nostril. So they are continuously moving. Have you understood it clearly? Something is being cooked in the kitchen. You are not going into the kitchen. You are sitting in the drawing room. You get the smell, isn't it? It doesn't remain in the kitchen. It moves out, and that is what is I told you. The particles are in a state of constant motion. That is different. The motion depends upon many factors. Many factors like summer, temperature is higher, the breeze is blowing, fan is moving on. These different factors affect it. But the smell you get it. So they are in a constant state of motion. Understood the second property? This intermixing up of particles the intermixing up of particles of two substances intermixing up of particles of two substances on their own is called intermixing up of two substances on their own is called diffusion. Intermixing up of particles or two substances on their own means nobody is mixing it up. The sugar gets mixed with the water, we mix it up. Whereas when incense stick is lit in one corner, you get the smell in the other corner. Now what are the things? One is the molecule that produce a smell of incense stick, and the second one is the air molecules that we are in the room. So the air molecules and the intermixing of the incense stick fumes or the vapors that are produced or the gases that are produced, they get mixed up. And that intermixing up of two types of particles by their own. And that is what is called diffusion. So in other words, simply one line you can give the answer. How do we get the smell of incense stick in another corner of the room? The only one line answer, one word answer is due to diffusion. Understood it? How do you get the smell of the food being cooked in the kitchen? Due to the diffusion. How do you get the smell of leakage of LPG gas? Due to diffusion. You know that in case there is a leakage, a foul smell is getting released, and you get that smell. That means the gas that are released from LPG plus the air, they both got mixed up by themselves, and that intermixing is known as diffusion. So that shows the particles are in a state of constant motion. Understood it well? It's the particles of matter in a constant state of motion. You could do this activity. Nowadays nobody uses this fountain pen, or if not, any soluble ink or paint if you have it, water soluble paint or something like that. You take a glass containing water, understood it, and put one drop of that colored solution into that glass containing water, and you leave it for some time. There you could see the color gets spread slowly, completely the water becomes colored. It doesn't take, if you stir it with a spoon, it gets dissolved very fast. But if you allow it to do it by itself, it will take some time, but it will be getting dissolved. If not, easily, you know that nowadays the blue which is we use to produce whiteness to the cloth, blue, you know that ultramarine blue, Neil, or whatever colored solution, take a beaker or a glass, the same activity you do it, understood it? And you see slowly the color will be getting mixed up completely. You could accelerate this activity. What you can do it, slightly warm that container. Understood it? If you have a Borosil bowl or something, put it in the gas flame or on the heater one, and take water and put one drop of that dye or the color one, and then you slightly warm it up. Then you can see the color streams are moving continuously. Understood it? That shows the molecules are in a constant state of motion. Understood it? So first one is the particles are space in between them, and the second one, they are continuously moving. So any activity you could do. If a question is asked, what is diffusion? How do you get the smell of these things? All these things you understood it. Give an activity to show that diffusion is there. You could give any activity. A perfume bottle is open, you get the smell on the other side due to diffusion. Understood it? Any foul smell is getting reached, these all due to diffusion. All right? That also I told you, the diffusion process is affected by, what have I told you, affected by the temperature. That means if you heat it, what will happen? The solvent molecules move faster, and which will bring these colored particles along with it, and the dissolution will be faster. That is what. Note down this thing. The rate of diffusion, the rate of diffusion is highest in gases and then in liquids. Rate of diffusion is highest in gases, then in liquids and in solids. Understood it? The diffusion in gas to gas is faster. Liquids diffusion is also there, that will take little slower, and solid diffusion is very slow. And the solids, liquids and gases diffuse into liquids. Diffusion into liquid means there is a type of solution is faster there. You know, how do these aquatic plants and animals get their oxygen? They get this oxygen because of the diffusion. The atmospheric oxygen gets dissolved in water, and that diffusion will give them oxygen for their survival. You know that terrestrial animal like us, we breathe in the atmospheric oxygen. And aquatic animals, the fishes breathe through its gills. The oxygen that is dissolved is taken. The third property is, write down, the particles of matter attract each other. The particles of matter attract each other. Now, in this one, you understand it. The maximum force of attraction is in solids. And that is why we say that the solids are rigidity, or it has got rigidity, or they are rigid. You take your desk, table, anything you take it out, its shape remains the same. When you talk about a wooden block, it is made up of number of particles of wood. And among them, between that wooden particle, there exists the strongest force of attraction. And that is why that keep them rigidity or fixed shape. And when in liquids, when we talk about, still there is a force of attraction, but little lesser. Gases, the force of attraction is still weaker. Remember, the diffusion in gases is more, liquids little less, and solids it is, diffusion is here, but very less. Just opposite. The force of attraction in solid is maximum, therefore diffusion in solid is least. The force of attraction in liquid is medium, therefore diffusion is at a medium rate. The force of attraction in gases is least, therefore diffusion is fastest. Understood it? Note on this. Have you understood it clearly? Shreya, diffusion in solid is less. Reason, the force of attraction between them is very strong. They keep the molecules, particles together. So there is no space for the other thing to go. In liquid, there is little bit of space. Attraction between the particles is slightly less. Therefore, they could diffuse. In gases, the distance is very far, attraction is very less, so they could diffuse easily. Have you understood it well? So the particles must attract each other. Everybody understood it, what I told? So these three activities, whatever I told you, You must know it. Summarize the topic. And the states of matter is the next topic. 6th class onwards in science or the primary class onwards, you have been studying about the states of matter. Matter is broadly classified into 3 states. What I told you earlier, we are studying it on account of the physical properties: solids, liquids, and gases. All right. The states of matter, we'll do it in our next class. Okay, I'm ending it.